Mahung Benzar Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Mahung Benzar Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Mahung. Om Mahung. Om Mahung. Good morning. There you are. So, before we get started, I want to remind you that we are live on Zoom right now. I don't know where you're picking us up because we have multiple channels going on, but we are live on Zoom. So if you go to kansascitybuddhistcenter.com and click on upcoming events, click there and you'll see today's service. Click there and you'll have the link to the Zoom. So I would like you to go on the Zoom and see some faces. And the other little benefit is that after we're done with the service, we have a little bit of satsang, so a little bit of question and answer, a little sharing in our little circle there. And it's the past few weeks, it's been really quite refreshing and lovely. So I hope that you can jump in. We've got some others jumping on right now, so know that that's there. And yeah, do it. It's good for you. We see some faces, see ourselves coming out of this crazy year. So you can hear me on Zoom. Awesome. Thanks, James. Hey, Randall. All right, let's get started with today's service. And as always, I'll ring the bell 3 times, letting that sound and vibration call us to our seats, call us to our innate wakeful wisdom, and call us to this present moment. We begin with the path-clearing and wish-fulfilling prayer to Padmasambhava, followed by our refuge prayer. And remember that these prayers of invocation lead us to our wakefulness and our ability to see what is. Let me let some people in here. See what is really created in our own experiences, our own obstacles, and by our own actions. Taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha being the model of awakened wakefulness in this human form. Dharma being the teachings, allowing us to explore for ourselves and find truths, not because they're told to us, but because we have, as individuals, come upon them. And the Sangha, which is this group, this community, together. Separately, but together. Dosum Sangye Guru Rinpoche Nungdrup Kundak Dewa Chen Pojab Barche Kunsel Dudu Drakpotse Solwan Depso Jinji Lap Tu Sol Chinang Sangwei Borche jiwadang sampalunji drupa jinji. Precious guide, one with all the Buddhas of the three times, blissful presence and source of all spiritual accomplishments, fierce destroyer of illusion who dispels every obstruction, we pray to you for blessing, inspiration, and realization. Please remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles, and spontaneously fulfill our aspirations. Sangye chodang tsoki choknam la Zhangchu badu dakni kapsu chi dakji jinso gipe sonam ki drola penshir sangye drupar shok sangye chodang tsoki choknam la Zhangchu badu dakni kapsu chi dakji jinso gipe sonam ki drola penshir sangye drupar shok. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. The great Yogi Milrepa sang, "My body is the holy mandala itself, wherein resides the Buddhas of all times. With their blessings, I'm freed from all needs and attachments. By day and night I offer them up. Happy am I to do without material things, knowing that all beings in the 6 realms of samsara are inherently Buddhas, and all the 3 worlds the self-creating, measureless Trikaya Palace. Whatever I do is the play of the Dharmadhatu, ultimate reality. Whoever I'm with is the Yidam deity. Wherever I stay is the Buddha's abode. Happy am I to forego outer supports, rituals, and symbols." So as we settle onto our seats, it's important to have good posture, so straighten your spine. Begin taking long, slow breaths. Doesn't have to be deep, doesn't have to be shallow. You decide for you what you need. But long and slow, just a nice, casual breath pace. And we'll chant a little. We'll use that breath for sound and vibration. So we'll breathe in with intention and chant outward with release and ease. We'll chant Lama Cheno, which means calling in or awakening the teacher, the Lama, within each of us. So picture the teacher before you and above you, floating on a lotus cloud, sitting peacefully, radiantly. And as that teacher descends on that cloud, you meet your gaze eye to eye, and you say, "Melt with me, merge with me, show me the teacher within." Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Checheno, Lama Cheno, Lama Cheno, 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 Lama Checheno. Long, slow breaths into your lower belly, straightening your spine, remembering natural body is not too tight and not too loose. Natural breath and energy is flowing fully with ease. Natural heart-mind is open, willing to understand, searching for our own suffering and turning toward it, looking for its source. And with understanding, we allow the suffering to cease. Letting everything come and go with natural ease, innate wakefulness. Compassion and wisdom are the wings of our practice. Have compassion for yourself and all other beings, for we all suffer. And we all want and need for the same things. For peace, the cessation of suffering, and unsurpassable love. So just sit and breathe and be in this present moment, the only moment, the moment without beginning and end. Open, vast, luminous. Padme Hum. Om Mani 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 Padme Hum. By the blessings of the Triple Gem, may the minds and hearts of all beings be attuned to the sublime Dharma. Bless us to move forward on the path of true understanding. May the way be cleared of all impediments. Bless us that the elusive vision may appear in the light of the transcendent wisdom of Buddha. May unskillful thoughts and actions cease to arise. Bless us with the awakening of true love and compassion. May all beings realize perfect enlightenment. So, how's your suffering? Where is your suffering today? Look for it. It's important as we practice to notice our own suffering. You don't have to take out a billboard or an ad in the New York Times about what your suffering is, but you can at least see in this moment where you find discomfort, disillusion. Look at the base of the emotions. What are you feeling emotionally? Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you grieving? And follow that. We follow that to our suffering. The tiniest little bits of our discomfort lead toward the suffering. And it's not ours to live in that suffering, but instead for us to understand and be aware, awake, that we are suffering. This is really, really important. And if you've been practicing for a while, you know what ease is. You know when you slip into that position of sort of confident ease, like, I got this. This feels real good. I am no stranger to that ease, and I tap into it quite a bit. I, have struggled with anxiety, social anxiety, and just general anxiety for pretty much all of my life. Not realizing that's what it was. I thought there were just other things I wasn't prepared for, or some underlying reason why I needed to struggle. So I've learned to really see that anxiety and let go of it, like release it, release my grasp on it, stop letting it drag me around. And that feels good. So if you've been practicing for a while, whatever your frequent discomfort is, you've probably learned to find some ease, even if it's just in the confines of your meditation practice, where you can just go and maybe escape from what has been troubling you. But I will tell you, I thought that I was on pretty solid ground. Like I could, I'm having some panic, I'm having some anxiety, or I'm having some depression, which is kind of the laced in and interrelated to, that I could see it and react to it and let go of it. There was certainly a process, and it, sometimes quick, sometimes not quick. But this year, I have struggled. I've struggled the past 3 months, very specifically these last 3 months, and I was really uncertain why and what was really causing it. And even to the point that, as you know, I host a weekly podcast, and I've been even spotty and intermittent on recording because I sit down and I feel like there's something heavy and I don't know what it is. So I've been just exploring what's going on, what's happening in my experience. And funny enough, I realized, and I'm going to just share the whole enchilada with you, but I've fluctuated with my weight all my life, sometimes more than others, and over the past 5-6 years I've put on weight, and feeling unhealthy, all the things that go with that, not sleeping well and just feeling lethargic and heavy. And so I decided to, I've done every diet program I know of, but I ran across Noom, which is, a little bit different. It's a cognitive based thing, approach. So there's some education and some learning and some awareness practice that goes with it. So it resonated with me. And I've been doing that very successfully. I've, just over 3 months, I've dropped 40 pounds, and that feels great, and still have some more to go. But what I failed to see in that, because, here I'm losing weight and I'm feeling physically better, and I'm thinking I should be on top of the world. I've got some ease and calm and understanding in my life. Things are going pretty good. I'm pretty secure in who I am, and I feel like crap. And I don't understand why. So this has been troubling me. And lo and behold, with, a little sitting, a little therapist, which I recommend to anybody, and, my practice of sitting and especially writing when I need to sort of find the root and source. And lo and behold, I realized that I have been self-medicating with food. So when I was experiencing some grade of discomfort, I was turning toward a comfort, as we often do. And I was definitely soothing myself with food. Probably most notably cheese. I might be a cheese addict, just so we're all clear. There's a lot of calories in cheese if you have never tracked it. A little piece like that is 100 calories. And if you ate the whole brick and some crackers, oops. Oops to that. So I tell you this because in all of our lives, we all experience discomfort. And when discomfort arises in the container of sort of unconscious habitual behavior, unconscious discomfort arises, and immediately things kick in and start taking us to things of comfort, distractions of comfort. And maybe it's thoughts, maybe it's food, maybe it's Netflix or art, or I'm going to go work in my garden and distract myself from the discomfort. This practice specifically is about turning on all the lights in all the dark rooms and understanding that we're doing that. I just realized that I'm distracting myself with a comfort where there is discomfort, and it can arise in many ways. It can be just boredom. Think about when you go to the DMV and you're in that weird line or weird waiting room, and only maybe a couple people are talking, and you don't really want to be a part of the conversation, and it's awkward because you're just waiting. And the first thing we do, we used to pick up those filthy magazines from 1972 that we'd scroll, and then now we do this, and we'll look at our email 25 times and our Facebook just to see if anybody posted anything in the last 25 seconds that will help me distract myself from the discomfort or the boredom of being there. As we undertake a practice of sitting in stillness, there's a lot of stuff that bubbles up. We're not, not always super happy to be alone with ourselves, especially if you just haven't been doing it. We either fill ourselves with people or fill each other, fill ourselves with, a distraction of, food or, watching people on television, to cure things like feeling of separateness, isolation. This last year has all probably taught us some lessons in how we don't want to be by ourselves. And I'm sure that there's some discomfort. Now, admittedly, I'm an introvert and I kind of like being by myself, but there are limits. And, thank goodness for my dogs and my husband. So, and a telephone where I can, call my sister or my mom or somebody and just connect. So it's all of ours to do in this practice to continually look for our own states of discomfort. What's going on with me right now as I sit on the seat? What's going on? Follow the trail of emotion and see where it leads. And it's not about taking yourself and placing yourself in this vat of being a victim of something. We've all had some sort of trauma in our past, and it's not about wallowing in that or really anything other than just simply the realization of, I was reacting to a memory. I was reacting to an anxiety. For me, I've been conditioned in my life to be a worrier. And I do continue to worry about even the most mundane things. If you've ever traveled with me, I have everything in my bag that we will need if we get stuck in the woods. I may have one of those little flint things that you start a fire with, just because, our plane may go down in the forest and we may have to forage. And I've got nail clippers if you need nail clippers. If you have a cough, I probably have, some, cough drops. If you need a tissue, I've got a tissue. Hand wipes, hand sanitizer, I got you covered. Everything is covered. And what I've realized is that there's some magical thinking that goes on with things like worry and the anxiety of, if I think about it and I plan for it, then it won't happen. And there's something cognitively that's going on in there, thinking that the more I've worried, the more I've warded off bad stuff. And as we know from this last year, you can't worry off the bad stuff. Bad stuff is going to come. I feel like my first real insightful thought was, I was speaking with a friend of mine and she said, why do bad things happen to good people? And I just looked at her and said, because bad things happen to all people. It's not because we've earned bad stuff. Bad stuff happens. Good stuff happens. Pretty neutral stuff happens. And, much to, my training, the chagrin of my training, I can't worry away or plan for there not to be bad stuff. And for me, I feel like if I'm prepared in some way, that maybe that'll mitigate the suffering of it, and it doesn't. But what will mitigate the suffering is the understanding of suffering. What is its root? What does it feel like when we suffer? And here's a really important part of this, is that when we see and even feel the discomfort of someone else's bad behavior, we've all felt that as well. When we see someone else's bad behavior and we react and we start feeling that, like, this is what injustice feels like, this is what anger feels like, this is what we want revenge on what you're doing, we want to take all your money, and we want you to go to prison, and we want blah, 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 blah. That there is certainly my suffering from that experience. But what's really the transition and the transformational aspect of this practice is that when we can see that person who's acting like a jerk or acting in ways that are really unskillful, that we learn to look for, how is that person suffering? How is that person suffering? Rather than condemning them. I mean, certainly it's bad behavior. We know it's bad behavior. But when we can look and see, how is that person suffering? What leads to this condition where this person is acting out in this way? And we stop it. We break the chain by doing that. Because clearly when we are looking for their suffering, that person's suffering, we've released the suffering of ourselves in that situation. And I'm not so mad and not looking for revenge or looking for, karma to kick somebody in the ass. We are, we're really trying to see, where is the source of that person's suffering. So when we work with things like bodhicitta, which I'm certainly not done with the curriculum yet, but our next class is going to be on Lojong, the Lojong teachings, and a big portion of this is learning to work with bodhicitta. There's an aspect within bodhicitta that's called tonglen, where we look at the suffering of others and internalize it and sort of willingly take it on, through understanding, and we offer up our understanding as like a buffet for everybody else. Every bit of understanding that I have is for every other being to be able to feast on, so that we relieve all suffering. When I can give just the grace of understanding of someone else's suffering, things begin to change. We break the chain of those events. So it's important. And I know I just said a lot of things, but know that it's hiding under your cheese. That suffering, your own suffering, is hiding under whatever you're using to dull the discomfort, whether it be food, whether it be porn, whether it be Netflix or drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be. There's a reason for it. There's a source of true suffering that we're covering up. So there's a lot of things to unpack with letting go and not be dragged by that, but it's important for us to really turn on all the lights in all the dark rooms, open every closet, every drawer, and let all that stuff out into the light, so we see what it is, and we see when we're reacting to it. Super duper important. So before we close up this service today, I want to remind you that we're on Zoom right now. So my guys are over here. We've got a small little group. So go and jump into the Zoom room with us, the Zoom room. I'm going to call it that. So go to kansascitybuddhistcenter.com, go to upcoming events, click on the Zoom link for the weekly meditation and practice session, and come in, join the room. So we'll have a little discussion for about 30 minutes after this, so you can join in. So I don't want you to be left out, and it's a great way to connect. We're all doing this in different ways, and sometimes we just really can benefit from the wisdom of the group. It's not just me. All of you have wisdom because you are all on that path too. So I am going to close up this session with the four dharmas of Gampopa and Longchenpa, the prayer for 10 accomplishments, and then our bodhicitta dedication. Bless and empower us that our minds and hearts turn toward the Dharma. Bless and empower us that our Dharma practice becomes the path. Bless and empower us that the path truly dispels confusion. Bless and empower us that the confusion itself dawns as primordial awareness. The prayer for 10 accomplishments. May we realize true sincerity and integrity, inner purity of mind, dispassionate equanimity toward all we see, right understanding of this dreamlike world and the next, loving compassion toward others, and the genuine intention to be helpful in alleviating suffering and confusion. May we directly perceive the truths of impermanence, mortality, interconnectedness, relinquish wandering thoughts and rampant desires, accomplish freedom of mind and clarity of spirit, remember with gratitude those who have gone before and shown the way, and vow to reach together full and complete enlightenment. Jongchup Simchok Rinpoche, Makye Panam Kegyur Chik, Kepanyam Parme Payam, Gongne Gongdu Pelwar Shok, Jongchup Simchok Rinpoche, Makye Panam Kegyur Chik, Kepanyam Parme Payam, Gongne Gongdu Pelwar Shok. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened, body, speech, and mind directed toward awakening, and for the benefit of all beings, without one single exception.